I'm in my room, 25 years old. I have a headache. I feel bloated. I want to sleep at 3 a.m. and it's only 7 a.m. It feels like I've been asleep for 1,000 years. I have these PTSD dreams, so I'm just gonna stay awake. But staying awake means that I have a barrage of thoughts and feelings. My heart's in a million pieces. I can't trust my thoughts. I don't know up from down. I feel overwhelmed. I'm a loser by all metrics. I live with my mom. I'm working a minimum wage job, making sandwiches for people that aren't grateful for their lives, and I hate my life. This is my reality 2 years ago. I was heartbroken. I was a loser. I was a loser. I felt like a loser. I didn't have the girl. I didn't have the job. I didn't have the body. I had an alcohol problem. I was emotional. I would, well, no, I wouldn't cry, but I was overly invested in my own emotions. I didn't know how to separate myself from them. I kept reading these self help books and it was helping. It was 100% helping. But there was some missing piece in my life. There was something that just, I felt different from a lot of these self help type of girls, these spiritual girls, these healing types. And I'm not talking shit. I'm not, I just, there's some missing piece. I didn't know any men that I resonated with that I could relate to. I was just seeing a lot of degenerate stuff, and even then, I was adherent to it. Get as many girls as you can and think about yourself, be selfish, whatever. But I knew something had to change. I knew I couldn't keep living like that. I didn't know then that if I kept going like that, if I kept being overly emotional and shameful of myself, and if I kept reading books and not taking action, nothing would improve. But I started learning about masculine and feminine energy. I started learning that men and women were different. I started walking away from the thought of gender as a social construct and all this stuff you learn in college. I learned in college, and while it has some validity, I'm not coming for anybody's head. I'm not trying to stir the pot or rock the boat. I am simply talking about my own experiences. I was ashamed of being a man. I saw all the unhealthy shadow aspects of masculinity, and it was hard to find the healthy ones, or at least maybe in my algorithm. And that's the problem with algorithms. The thing that is negative or positive, depending on how you use it, keeps getting pushed, and you get stuck in a loop. It's like a spiral, like a whirlpool you can't get out of, and you don't realize there are other whirlpools out there. Uh, but the task, the goal, isn't moving from one whirlpool to another. From feminist whirlpool to red pill whirlpool, which I somewhat shifted into, but rather to get out of that ocean altogether, or get out of that patch and go somewhere calm where you can make up your own opinions and thoughts. I've learned about masculine and feminine energy, and I learned that the way I was approaching my own healing and trying to change my life, I was like I said, a loser. And I could say that to myself without feeling shame. I don't feel shame about it. It was just the reality of it. It was the reality of the situation. I felt that way. Is that the way the feminine energy heals isn't the same way the masculine energy heals. And we all have both, but we have different ratios and percentages of what that means. I didn't know for most of my life, even though it's obvious to me now that I had a dominant masculine energy, that I had more masculine energy. Therefore, approaching it only from a feminine healing way wasn't going to be as fulfilling, and it wasn't going to be as, what's the word? It wasn't going to work as well for me. So once I started learning about masculine energy and that there has to be forward movement, there has to be action, that I have to take care of my body, that I have to work out. Well, I don't have to work out, but I have to move my body. I have to be proud of my own physique. I want to be strong. That's not toxic masculine. Wanting to be strong is simply loving yourself. That is an act of love for myself. I was a skinny fat dude. Oh man, like you could tell I had low testosterone or something. Like you could tell I was just, man, just, I was skinny fat. I knew something was wrong when I was driving my car and I'd hit like a pothole or something like that, and my chest would jiggle, and I didn't have man boobs. I didn't have man boobs, but I was like, that didn't happen before. My body was literally changing. Like, what man, or at least masculine man, would feel good with that? Not me. And I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm not trying to fat shame anybody, but it's just the reality of how I felt. I feel 1,000 times better being muscular and fit than I did being skinny fat and trying to love my body as it was. While that's important, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I feel better being healthy and fit and looking at my body and being like, I worked hard for that. I am so proud of myself. And that's how I feel. And that is masculine energy. Building something, progressing, forward movement in the physical. Maybe you're like me and you didn't know what your dominant energy was. Maybe yours is feminine. In that case, the feminine way of healing will be more helpful to you. But let's say you're like me and you have more masculine energy. You want to do the masculine things. Of course, feminine healing is for everybody. It's vital. I think it's important in any man's journey to go within like that. But there's a time. There's a time to act. There's a time for discipline and willpower. There's a time to simply be masculine, to embrace that, to be strong, to be a leader, orderly, to harness the king energy. And when I did that, when I understood that, when I embraced it, my life changed way quicker. It was way better. I felt so at home in myself. I could feel the ancestors within. I could feel the men before me. I could feel that tribal energy and power. We can harness it, move forward, and change into the highest potential, into our highest potentials. It's not changing who we are. It's not forcing ourselves to be masculine, not forcing ourselves to be feminine. It's not forcing, it's just being, going, and bringing out the best part of ourselves that are latent, that are in us. That is what discovering masculine energy has done for me. That description of me in the beginning, skinny, fat, heartbroken, overly emotional, that was me 2 years ago. That's how quickly things can change. I no longer work a minimum wage job. I think I've tripled my income, pretty much tripled my income ever since then. It's only going to grow. That's what happens when you love yourself, believe in yourself. When you let go of those limiting beliefs, when you let go of those lower versions of yourself, or maybe it was never even you, it was something that was implanted in you. And the beautiful thing about this is that anybody can do it. Anybody. So that's my message for today. Discover your dominant energy and go with that. Go with it. Stick with it. And if you're interested, I've made masculine subliminals. I'm going to add a card and some links down below that I've been using, that I've made myself for myself. I've used other ones. You could Google on YouTube for any kind of subliminal. I just focus on masculine subliminals because I want to feel from within. I want to put my own energy in there, connect to the divine masculine, connect to the masculine confidence, the masculine power, the abundance of masculinity. So these are things that I listen to on top of everything else, on top of all the other practices and things that must be done. But this is something I do in the background easily, at least. A top tier thing to find out is your dominant energy. Figure that out and go from there. I have a few videos talking about how to enhance masculine energy if you have more masculine energy, talking about masculinity in general. If you're interested, let me know what you think. Is yours I'm actually genuinely curious, like the people who watch, if I'm attracting more masculine or feminine. It doesn't matter. Anybody could watch these videos, but I'm just curious what you believe you are. Your split is maybe you're 60-40, 70-30 of whichever. I would say I'm more of a 70-30, maybe 80-20, but around there. So let me know. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like what I have to say, because there's more to come. And, good luck on your path of greatness.